early. Welcome, everyone. Good morning. Thanks so much for tuning into Network Live TV, where we're going to talk about how to increase your networking efforts locally, nationally, or even internationally, as well as discuss some things that will help you up your game online. Bringing you experts every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern. And you're going to get all their contact information. So you actually get to reach out to these people after you've got to know them a little bit. Create some connections, some collaborations, some referrals, do business, or maybe even just a great friendship. So just want to remind you that I am your host, Sabrina Watson, founder of NetworkLiveVirtually.com, where you can grow your business through creating live virtual relationships all over the globe. Our meetings and membership are currently free, so don't miss your chance to network and build relationships with amazing people. I also want to let our audience know that we are looking for people who are absolutely serious about building their brand and their business while establishing their authority and creating a larger circle of influence to join us as hosts on Network Live Virtually. The people we're looking for are going to have three main qualities. They are team players, self-motivated, and dependable. So if you think you have these qualities and you would like to begin to build your tribe with us, reach out to me and we'll talk about the benefits of being a host on Network Live Virtually. Want to thank my co-host, Miss Christy Smallwood, for being here today. I'm going to do her a quick introduction, and then we're going to chat for a minute, and then we'll introduce Tammy, our special guest today that I'm really excited to introduce you to. I think you're going to be... This is just a cool, I love what Tammy's got going on, so I can't wait to tell you guys about it. Let me introduce my co-host, Christy Smallwood. She is the author of The No Rules Way and Entree Networking and currently owns Eagle Eye Executives. Her background includes 20 plus years in media, marketing, and advertising, plus organizational management with focus on developing and launching new projects. Christy's a trained executive coach specializing in leadership communication, and her experience covers a variety of industries: ad agencies, radios, franchises, small businesses, and corporate, as well as ministry and nonprofits. Christy uses her gifts of bringing order to chaos, getting things done, and motivating people to realize their potential, reach their goals, and brings their dreams to life. She specializes in training on self-awareness and self-definition that includes leadership, emotional intelligence, marketing, organization, personal development, and time management. She trains and develops entrepreneurs to continuous growth through strategies that fit their passions and beliefs. Christy's worked with over 100 local professionals through direct coaching and training and reached thousands through speaking at workshops and various organizations and events across the country. Good morning, Christy!
Hi! That's a long thing. Maybe I should send you a shortened version so it doesn't take
I like that one. And it tells everybody all about you. So you said you're sitting in a conference room because as soon as we're done with our blab, you've got to go do a presentation of some kind. What's going on? What are you doing?
My local chamber, one of the local chambers, One Southern Indiana, is having a member luncheon today. So it is in the big room across from the kitchen area. So I'm in this itty bitty, I may have an echo. I'm hoping it's not too bad. Is my sound okay?
No, it's okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. Because it's like this itty bitty little cave room off to the side. So I'm over here so that I'm on site and I don't have to leave early. You and we can finish this, because sometimes I have to leave early if I have events and things. So I don't have to leave early today. I just shut this down and go right across the kitchen.
So your chambers meeting today, what are you going to teach them? Or are you teaching what's on the agenda?
To my knowledge, I'm not doing an official presentation. This is my understanding is a member lunch. So this is one of those, they pick 12, it's hand-picked. And so it's kind of we're going to introduce these 12 people together. And so I got picked to be one of the 12 today. So I'm kind of excited to see who else shows up. It's one of those surprise things. I don't know what I'm getting myself into. But I'm totally prepared with my promotional materials that match our training.
Look at that.
I know, right?
9 tips to make networking work for you. Did you put that on a PDF or?
I'm working on that. That's this week because I had to get this part out first. I had to get it all typeset and ready to, print and things. Because that was the deadline here. Now I can do a PDF for our training, and that becomes the download piece. And then I have got able to do the videos, and all of this stuff now is starting to make sense. So finally, And
Charlene Burke says she has one of those. I don't have one of those.
I'm bringing you one.
When you come
Can
to
I
see
get
me,
one?
right?
Yeah, I mean, these honestly, and Charlene reminded me, these are like, I know this is a promotional piece for me. So
Yes.
instead, because of what I'm doing, the best way for me to get across is, first of all, do you like my personality? Do you want to listen to me for a couple of hours? And then am I credible enough for you to hire me to come train? Well, this works much better than an ink pen.
Yep. So
Right?
Tell us a little bit about that book. How big is it?
Well, this one is only not very big. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it's like 8 pages. It's not very big. It's the size, like if I did a PDF, it'd be about 3 pages PDF or a long blog post. And thanks, Charlene. Jam-packed with goodness.
So how to get it printed, Christy? Give us a little background on that for those of us that want to do something similar.
So I did it's expensive if you do it without what's called an SPC code. So through my first of all, I went to Office Depot. Okay, they have a printing department. You can find online places that will do mini books. They're called mini books. And you can get them, but you have to buy in bulk to get it down to the price that I can get it to. So you get this out, right? The 1,000 of them. And like, I don't have $1,000, but my budget is right. And my budget's $250. So what can I do? How many of these can I do for $250? Well, I know if I go, this is literally a half sheet. So I'm walking you guys through the logistics of it. This is a half sheet. Okay. So 8.5 by 11. And what I did is I just used, I think it was PowerPoint to lay it out appropriately. Did some trials, got it all laid out like I was supposed to. I took it and I said, Office Depot, I need these pages printed and I need the outside to be this nice, hard, glossy stuff. And I put 2 of those on 1 page. Now, originally, when I did these for my Being Super, because I have a second book, my Being Super mini books, I brought those suckers home. I cut them with my big cutter, and then I have a long stapler that I can stick these in, and I just staple it, right? 2 staples, and we're folding and we're done. That takes time. And that time I didn't have for this project. So with the cost of this at Office Depot was going to be I printed 200 of them to have it printed and them cut, assemble, fold, and staple was going to be like $800.
Whoa!
Now, here's the nice thing about being attached to a chamber that has an affiliate program. If you're not aware of these, this is something to ask about your association. An affiliate program says, hey, we want a relationship with you, Office Depot. And so Office Depot, Office Max will give them an SPC code. And so that's like a special discount for that association. That discount brought my $800 project down to $300.
What?
Now, did you say F as in Frank or S as in Sam? Sam. STP code.
SPC.
Oh, I got that totally wrong. Sorry about that.
Special price code. All right.
Makes sense. Thank you.
And so it'll be a code that they punch into their POS system, and it gives you that huge discount on printing.
Wow.
Yeah, and Charlene's right. Always ask the association what affiliate programs, partners. It's the perks part of being a member. Like you get special. POS really does mean point of sale. So point of sale system. Now, some of my clients have said, yes, it really is the POS you're thinking of because I don't like it. But officially, it's point of sale system, which is the register. So that's how I got this project done, because I can take it down the street to my local printer. They know what I want. They know how I want it done. And I invested the extra $50 really is what the pricing difference between having it printed and me assembling and them assembling was like $50. And that
was at Office Depot.
And that $50 saved me 2 to 3 hours. So it was well worth it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Is that stapled or bound, or how is that put together then?
This one is stapled. 2 staples in the middle here. And I don't know, you guys probably can't see that. It looks great. Yeah.
Got to be a little careful about handing those out, though, right, Christy? They're kind of expensive.
Yeah.
It works out to be $1 and some not like $1.10 or something a piece. Mm-hmm. It's not horrible considering if I had really, really nice pens or, you know, the koozies or the, you know, hell, water bottles are really expensive. Instead of spending, you know, $3 a piece on something, anywhere from $1.50 to $3 on a tchotchke, I'm giving out something that makes me credible while I'm at it. And it's useful for the person that's reading it.
Mm-hmm.
And it also speaks to your expertise in the field. So it's not just about your name. They actually get to hear you.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Let me real quickly, you guys, throw in the chat box the link to networklivevirtually.com. And this is the link to our upcoming events. We have had a couple of changes recently. Charlene also says you'll stand out because it's a mini book, which is valuable to info. And I really like that idea actually a lot. But
it's a great idea.
Yeah, it's a fabulous idea. Again, I just want to remind people that at networklivevirtually.com on our events page, you can find all of the upcoming networking groups. We've added a new one on Mondays at 4 p.m. No, Mondays at 3 p.m. So there's 2 on Mondays now, 1 on Tuesdays, 2 on Wednesdays. I'm not sure. You'll have to go look. I can't remember. But anyway, so there are a few networking groups happening right now. Please be sure to check our calendar. The link is in the chat box. And you got to show up in order to meet amazing people all over the globe. You got to show up. You got to put that foot forward and meet amazing people like Christy Smallwood, whose meeting is. Go for it, Christy. Second, and there's going to be so many hosts I can't remember anymore.
Right, because mine are 2nd and 4th Wednesdays at 2 p.m.
2nd and 4th Wednesdays at 2 p.m. You can join Christy Smallwood. Virtual networking. She's going to give you tips and tricks, introduce you to people that are cool. You get to meet everybody else in the room and exchange contact information right there. Okay. Charlene says, I had to have one today because people had emailed me privately. Please have a meeting today. I want to meet with the people again. Oh, okay, I guess.
I like the momentum. I mean, that's one of those good things about what we're doing is now it's creating momentum. So we're starting to see that. Because I think, and I want to run this past you guys, I think for my next session.
She didn't have one scheduled for today. So no email went out today. So I'm a little concerned about that. The fact that we told people no meeting and we actually had one. Anyway, go ahead.
I think what I want to be able to do on my next session, which is not this Wednesday, obviously, but next Wednesday, would be an open discussion on client experience, on the client service experience. I think I want to do that.
Good idea. I like that. So if you want to learn more or discuss more about the client service, what did you say? Client service experience with Christy Smallwood next Wednesday at 2 p.m.
2 p.m. Eastern. That's right.
I'm sorry. I just can't keep straight anymore. I'm confused all the time. So I want to introduce you to Tammy because I'm really excited about what Tammy's got going on. Tammy lives joyfully in spite of her disability. She has multiple sclerosis diagnosed in 2001. She is a pastor's wife, mother of 3, a daughter-in-law, and she has 1 grandchild. She loves her Lord, her family, and her country. Rah, 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 Tammy. Her business is Tammy's Office Solutions, and she provides uniquely personal virtual assistance while empowering disabled professionals to work. I want to emphasis the able there on the beginning of disabled. She has, they have years of experience providing a full range of virtual business services and solutions. They're located just outside of Richmond, Virginia, and assist clients throughout the U.S. Tammy's offices has an exceptional reputation for providing a tailored approach in virtual service solutions to her clients. She specializes in helping startups and small to mid-sized businesses. So welcome, Tammy.
Hi.
Thank you. I'm very excited to be here today. Thank you so much.
So where do we even get Tammy started at? So how did you get here, Tammy?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a very long journey for all of us, isn't it? Yes, I didn't start out to start a business. It's kind of funny how it all worked out. We moved to Virginia about 8 years ago, and we were fortunate enough to purchase a home. And we could really, if anybody knows ministry is not meant to make money. So we could use the income. And at that point, I was, somewhat disabled. To work outside the home would have been very difficult. Yet it was still a little touch and go with the working at home experiences from online. There were still a lot of scams, and I mean, they still are, but you know what I mean, not a lot of legitimate things. And so I began actually in lead generation. Met an insurance gentleman who needed help making appointments, and apparently was pretty good at it because his colleagues started asking where he was getting those appointments. And I also offered virtual assistants at that time. And what I always knew, though, and he convinced me it was a business, so I did begin a business. But what I always knew was if I got to a place where I could share the work, I knew there had to be other people that were in the same situation as I was and works better from home than could do outside of the home. And I always wanted to share that work. And so when I got to that place, however, and I work closely with Department of Rehab and DBVI, which is Division of Blind and Visually Impaired department here in Virginia. And what I found out, however, was that lead generation wasn't a good fit for many disabled professionals. A lot of the times, when we start out working again or working for the first time, even though many have degrees, some with master's degrees, but the unemployment rate for disabled is just unbelievable. For blind and visually impaired, over 90%. That's unacceptable. That's not right because they are so gifted in so many ways. And so, that became part of my mission. And so I totally did away with lead generation because it was a very difficult thing for them to do with confidence that, in the beginning that they lacked, but then began to do certain things. Yes, as they began to just flourish. And so lead generation, we just did away with, embraced the virtual assistant, began adding additional skill sets and doing other things, and just really went forward with that. And we've continued to add to that over the last several years. Did we lose her?
What happened?
Am I back?
You're back. She is.
Oh, it just kicked me out.
Yes.
That's Blab for you, right? I was watching you guys as I disappeared. Well, alrighty then.
Oh, that's funny.
Well,
funny.
Blab's really, there's a lot of talk floating around about Blab, and there's a lot of people who think it's going to go away, and I really hope not, because I got to tell you, it is one of my favorite channels. So we will see. So Tammy, tell us how you find, what are some of the disabilities in some of the people that you have working for you? What would be a typical disability?
Oh, gosh. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. There really isn't a typical disability. And as we said, talked once before, everybody has disabilities, truthfully. We just don't all see them on the outside. Some are easier to see than others. But a lot of them, physical disabilities, even emotional, just various. It really varies. I have a lady right now that I'm working with who is, legally blind. So she uses a machine called JAWS, JAWS. It's an acronym. I have no idea what that stands for. I'm sorry. We always call it JAWS. And this talks in her ear while she's on the computer. So it reads it for her and all the information so that she can do the work that we're doing. It's just incredible and amazing. The skills you have to have, think about it, because not only are you multitasking, but you're having to listen to somebody else and do something, else in this ear, as well as manipulate the computer and everything else. So it's pretty incredible. She's an amazing lady. I just love her. I've had others who, suffer with depression or just even, other physical ailments, lupus, MS, and things like that, and just cannot work outside the home. And now I don't collect disability. Some do, and some with the department do. And you have to be careful about what they earn. And that's really up to them and between Department of Rehab and all of that. But most can earn about $1,000 a month, which is, perfect for what we do. And that really helps them and their families. So,
and those are really
it's a great system.
That $1,000 a month is really like a windfall for somebody who may be on disability, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, but our system is so strange, I have to tell you, because if you're not in a certain program, you can't always keep the money. In other words, they're going to penalize you and take away some of your disability for the amount you earn. And so you really have to be sure that you're in the Ticket to Work program or talking with your counselor very closely about how that all works, because it's a very complex system. It aggravates me often, but at the same time, I know it's very helpful to many, but it's just very complex in the way they view it. And I know a lady who had earned like maybe $40 the first week, and they wanted to take away $100. And I'm like, well, how does that help her work? How does that help, And so it's just kind of a crazy system. I had one young lady who had been in a very bad car accident, very young, going to college and everything else, and wanted to work. She was paralyzed from the neck down. Had worked with her, trained with her, and she began working very excited, and she actually came into the lead generation program when I was doing it. Within a week, we were told she could no longer work with us because her family would lose benefits, and that was like their health benefits to be able to keep her in what she needed to have. And so they were penalizing her and not allowing her to work, or they were going to lose those benefits. And I just think that's so sad. It's unfortunate. So what does that say to her? Well, how does she?
It tells her don't work.
Her? Yeah, but and also even your value, and how does that? I just think it's so backwards. Our world today. But anyway, so that was one case. Most of the time, it's very successful, and we were able to work with DARS as well as, the clients that come in and help us, our contractors and everything. And they're all wonderful. I've had anywhere from a few to a dozen helping at various times, and it's great.
I'm still just
questions, Christy.
No, not so much a question yet, but I totally agree. The system is frustrating, and we would have to take up 5 other blabs to talk about how crazy our world is lately.
Yes.
I mean, really. But it's awesome to see how you have expanded this. Like, how do you find your additional people that you bring in to help with your company?
Mm-hmm. Well, honestly, once people know what I'm doing, I get resumes and all kinds of things, emails, tweets, everything. Do you have work for me? But also, like I said, I do work with Department of Rehab as well as DBVI in the state, but I have people that work outside of the state as well because we service clients all over, so they don't have to be in the state of Virginia. But yes, as soon as somebody finds out and they have a friend of a friend and, all of those things, I get emails and all kinds of information. So, yeah, we just really need more clients because we would be able to help so many more disabled professionals, because as we bring in new clients, that's another disabled professional that's going to work. And so,
Wendy Manganero says, I love what you do, Tammy. I started as a job coach so long ago. For anybody that's out there, Wendy or Charlene, that we've got an open seat. Ladies, feel free to hop on in and ask Tammy whatever questions or give her whatever encouragement you would like. I am blown away by what Tammy's got going on. So, and I just thought that she would totally have this, pool of people just waiting to go to work for her. But she says that she experiences the same type of hiring dilemma that we all do, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Talk about that a little
bit. Absolutely. I'm just amazed at some of the resumes and some of it, the things that I receive from people who want to work. And then, I do experience the same thing. The funny thing about it is, I don't discriminate between able or disabled. You know, if we have some work for you and you have the skill set where you want to use you, you know. But I'm amazed oftentimes disabled professionals work harder, longer, you know, and everything else. This was so sad to me because I interviewed one girl and I was hiring her. And I told her, you know, I couldn't pay a lot in the beginning. It was in the beginning of the company. And I said, but if you hang in there with me, it'll be worth it. And she just looked at me and she said, I don't care if you don't pay me at all. I just want to work. Now, how sad is that? You know, because that's where we are sometimes in our, you know, in how we feel about ourselves too. But, you know, I am blessed that there are tons and tons of people out there who are very skilled. But I find the same kinds of things that everybody's finding right now. I run into people all the time and say they're so frustrated. They can't find loyalty. They cannot find people who will stick with them. They can't find people who will even work for a period of time at all, and then they're quitting to do other things. Oops, sorry. And, you know, we just are all in that, you know, place, and it's very difficult to find that. Now, I will say that with the disabled professionals, I don't have as much of that. But it is frustrating because you really have to go through a screening process. And I have to say, I feel like I'm at a really great place right now with my team, but it took a long time to get there, you know, 8 years to really get to where I have people that I can rely on, people that are loyal and who I love, and we work great together. You know, and as we add to that team, you begin to see certain characteristics that you're looking for in the next person that you're bringing onto the team, you know, as you've developed your team. And it's hard, though. It's hard. It's a process.
Well, because you're creating that culture, and so you're able to decide on that hiring process who's going to fit best in that culture or not.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So how do you find clients?
Well, that's tricky too. Honestly, most of mine come from social media or word of mouth. So I've gotten clients from every platform, I think, just about all the main ones anyway, Facebook, LinkedIn, Google Plus, you know, Twitter, everywhere. And then word of mouth, when people have used our services, they'll let other people know what we're doing, and then we get clients that way as well. But then again, it's still a good fit. You know, it's like with anybody who's freelancing and things like that. It has to be a good fit with just because we're doing this thing doesn't mean it's a good fit for everybody. You know what I mean? Because virtual work, you know, some people do it really well, and some people just have to micromanage and want you right there. And so if you know you're that type of person, you probably need somebody in office rather than working virtually. If you're okay with handing off the task or whatever it is, then you're going to work great virtually, you know. And so just finding clients that fit, you know, is great.
Well, and I want to talk a little bit about that, Tammy, is how you match up the VA with the client. And I got to tell you guys, I just had to switch my virtual assistant. My previous virtual assistant, who I was paying well, $25 an hour, direct, not through an agency, direct. She was making $25 an hour, which is decent pay, you know, nowadays. And she actually left me because she said, I can't stand being in my house any longer. So she went out and found a minimum wage job, and that's what she swapped for $25 an hour. I'm not joking.
Wow. Wow. Thank you, Wendy, for your comments. I really appreciate it. I do. I really feel like this could be an answer to our, you know, country's epidemic that we're in, because there's so many people that are disabled now and so many people not doing work because they're home collecting the disability. And if we could somehow tweak this into a system, you know, and I know they try to do that with the ticket to work through the government, but I think if more and more companies understood how valuable a disabled professional was to their company, because as I said, a lot of times work harder and more efficient even, you know, and are more loyal in the end. It's just amazing. And I'm not trying to say a blanket statement, but in my experience, that's what it's been. And I think that if we could actually put this into practice with a lot of companies, boy, we could really lower those who are collecting disability, because they would be collecting a full pay job, you know, and that would be awesome.
Charlene says it is the answer. Most are afraid of the opportunity or of using the VA. Educate and inform. Keep talking about it, Tammy.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Start a network of HR people and companies. You be the hub for them.
That's a good idea. It is. Very good idea.
See what happens? You come out and you hang out with us here at Network Live virtually, and you will find some amazing
I know my company's
stuff. By the way,
always
Tammy,
transitioning, so that might be an idea. Thank you.
My meeting is Tuesdays at 3 p.m., so I just want to make sure you know that. So I want to talk a little bit about skill sets. How do you develop the skill sets? Do they come to you developed already? And then do you develop additional skill sets? Do you help people develop additional skill sets, and how?
Well, there's a lot in that question, but first of all, I myself am always learning. So I'm always taking classes to learn additional things and to gain certifications and skills and things of that nature. Now, the great thing about working with Department of Rehab or DBVI in your state is that most of the time they will train them. Not only that, they will give them a computer. They will give them anything they need to work. Okay, so it's just an amazing thing. Whatever they need to be set up with in order to empower them to work, that Department of Rehab is going to help you with that. So you don't have to do anything necessarily. Now, you're going to have to tell them what you want and what you require and those kinds of things, and what skill sets you need, but they will help you match those. So it's just an amazing thing. So you don't have to, get that person headset or computer or any of those things, because they can. Now, the downfall of that is if you're going through the department, it can take a lot of time. So you want that person now, and it's going to be a month before they get their equipment to be able to work. And they want to work too, but it's going to take time to get that. So most of the time they do come already with skill sets. There are times when we have to work with certain software that the client has that we need to maybe train in that software. We've had that before, and it's not an issue. There's so many platforms virtually that we can train now. Join Me and just, all the different platforms there are for meetings and things like that. So it's a very easy way to train them too. So, and you have to be careful, because if you're hiring as a contractor versus an employee, there's a fine line there. And so they really should come already skilled with what they need to work. Just like a contractor, if you hire a painter in your house, you're not going to teach them to paint. You're going to pick out the colors and they're going to do it. So the same kind of thing, when you're hiring a contracted worker anyway, they should be skilled already, come to you ready to work. And then you just give them, the information or whatever it is they need to do. Did I answer everything?
So Tammy, pretty much, yes. But so if I come to you and I'm looking for a VA, do I tell you the skill set I'm looking for and you match me with somebody, or do you tell me who you have and what their skill sets are?
Okay. Well, generally right now anyway, and I know other VAs who do it differently, who are multi-VA companies, but generally speaking, right now, the way I do it, I kind of act as the project manager. So you're going to come to me, we're going to talk about it, what your needs are, what the skills that are needed, that kind of thing. And then what I'm going to do is, most of the time, it depends how busy we are, but most of the time I work with you, myself personally, for a week or two or a month to see what exactly is involved, so that I can then pass it to somebody else. And I may not even pass all the tasks, but just some of those. It just depends on what it is. And that way I've got a good handle on it. And if something would happen, I also know what to do, in case that other VA were out for a day or something like that, so that we have a good handle on it for you, so that you're not ever without us, so that's kind of how we handle it right now. Now, I know VAs who run multi-VA companies, and we're not talking about the disability factor now, we're just talking about virtual assistants, who actually, you come to me and say, okay, I need a bookkeeper. And then they say, okay, this is the bookkeepers we have. And then they put you with one of those. And then you deal with them. You might talk to, the owner once a month or something, but overall you're going to be dealing with that VA. That's not what we do right now. It doesn't mean we won't in the future, but this is where we are now.
Awesome. So Christy, is there let's talk about your community. you run across anybody doing anything like Tammy's got happening there?
Not so much on the virtual assistant segment of industry, but we do have a company locally called Rauch, Rauch, who will work with the disabled and match them up to companies for like manufacturing or assembly lines, things like that, it's tactile stuff that they can do over and over kind of thing. And they do that same sort of stuff. So it's not virtual assistant in the sense of office work, but more manufacturing and assembly work. That's what I do. We do have, and I was thinking of that the whole time. I'm like, I network with those people. So I talk to them on a regular basis and what they do and how they do it and things like that. So they even have, is it them that has the community? I think they even have, or they're in partnership with another organization that has a community built for the disabled. So, or, the mentally challenged, they can all live together in their own community. So, and it's super luxurious looking. Let me just say, like, can I come live there?
You probably could.
They have a clubhouse and a pool and, the whole 9 yards. It's a real community. It's not just the Section 8 housing looking stuff. It is a beautifully manicured community. And then they're able to transport them to work or bring work to them if necessary. So that's some of the stuff that they've got going on here. It's all very tangible. It's not virtual at all, but that's some of the stuff that they're doing in my local community.
And I think that that's a good point, because a lot of people, when they do think of disabled workers and things of like, that's what they think of, because we see that often. And a lot of times it could be somebody with high level Asperger's or, whatever, that's doing those kind of things. But we have people who physically couldn't do that, but mentally they're so bright. I mean, as I said, I have people that have had from AA degrees all the way up to masters and not working, and so it's just a shame. And they want to work, they want to work. And so trying to find work, and I think it's getting a little easier because we are becoming such a virtual world that it is easier to be a freelancer anyway. But it's still hard making a name and getting out there with people and, things of that nature, and getting reviews, and so that you can grow and all of those things. So if we had people and companies who really, set forth in their part of our mission is to empower other disabled. It's not only to provide excellent services to our clients, but it's actually part of our mission. And if other companies did that, what a difference it would make in our communities, in our state, in our country. Just think about it.
Yeah, I have a colleague here in the area. She runs a travel service and specializes in disability travel.
That's a hard thing too, let me tell you, because we think, I have to consider that anytime we just went on a cruise in March for our 30th anniversary.
Nice.
And I had to consider, okay, I've got to bring my scooter because I have a forearm crutch that I use most of the time outside of the home. However, if I'm going to be walking a little city, I need to be able to, at times, have a scooter or something like that. So we have to consider all those things, traveling with that. They even lost a piece of it. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of moving pieces that have to be in place when you're disabled. And not only that, but when we got to Mexico, oh my goodness, there was so much walking that we didn't even realize or know. And so, you have to be really careful about where you're going and what's involved once you get there. So I think that's a great service if she can offer and help people with that. And it wouldn't be just for her state, but it would be everywhere, because that people are looking for it. I follow a gentleman online. I think his name's Corey. I can't think of his last name, and that's what he does. He does a lot of travel blogs and about how to travel with a disability, because he's in a wheelchair always. And so he talks about how to do that. And I think it's amazing. It's wonderful.
Yeah, it's go ahead.
I was just going to say, Jimmy wants to know what everybody does. So let me do a quick rundown for everybody who's new that's joining us. This is Network Live TV. And we are here just virtual networking, introducing you to people from all over the globe, in all walks of life, in all genres of business. And you can join any of our virtual networking groups by going right over to our website and checking out the events page. Christy Smallwood hosts one 2 Wednesdays a month. I host one every Tuesday. We have Charlene Burke in the room, who also hosts on Wednesday mornings. So please go check out our events page and feel free to join a virtual networking group. My name is Sabrina Watson. I am founder of NetworkLifeVirtually.com. My co-host, Miss Christy Smallwood, today is the author of The No Rules Way and Entree Networking, and currently owns Eagle Eye Executives. She does a lot of things, mostly organizational management for businesses, leaders, helping them with leadership skills. I'm trying to scale this down to 2 sentences, Christy. How am I doing? And in addition to that, we have Miss Tammy. I've lost my notes for Tammy. There we go. Tammy is, her business is Tammy's Office Solutions, and she provides uniquely personal virtual services while empowering disabled professionals to work. That's what I was looking for. I was looking for the words to get it right, and that is Miss Tammy Durden. She is in your top corner there. So your morning must be going splendidly. You're so bubbly. Oh, you're talking to Charlene. And we do always have an open seat. If somebody would like to pop in, join us, or introduce yourself, or even just hang out and chat. Welcome to our people that are there. Charlene says, laughing out loud, amazing what I will do, eh? And also nice to meet you as well. So Tammy, I had a thought on the top of my head that I just totally lost when I was going to do our re-up thing there, talking about who we are and what we do. I am just so fascinated by how you got this started and how you're giving back in so many, many ways. So
I don't
are you like,
I just feel like it's a natural part of what I need to do. You know what I mean? I don't feel like I'm doing anything amazing. I just know it's a part of me and who I am and what our business does, but I love what I do. You know, I just love it. And I think that just goes with anybody who's doing their passion, you know.
And so I had asked a question about additional training. And so do you, with your VAs, do you do the training first and then train them, or do you provide them with courses to do certain training, or do you say to them, go learn this skill?
It can be,
people are asking about this skill. How does that work for VAs?
It can be a variety of ways. Yes. I'm sorry?
No, I was just, go ahead. Didn't mean to interrupt
you.
Well,
no, it's a variety of different things. I definitely am always adding to my skill set. And I know that I will ask VAs, do you do this or that? Because people are asking for it, you know, and then oftentimes they will go and train in certain things. Doesn't mean they always will. It's up to them. But, you know, if I ask them and they don't have that skill set, a lot of times they will, because they know it's a need that's going to come up, and they know that then they can meet that need, and that will be something they can, another piece of work they will have. And so, but a lot of times they come skilled too. You know, oftentimes I choose people who are already skilled in certain ways so that we can provide, you know, the things that we need to provide for our clients. Now, is an occasion when somebody I think is going to be very valuable and definitely worth, you know, I think all of my VAs are valuable and worth putting the time into. But I guess what I'm saying is where I spend the extra time showing somebody, you know, a few things, maybe tricks of the trade kind of things.
This show, I think, is a really good opportunity, though, for people that are wondering about virtual assistants to really get all the answers. So I think that's an awesome, and I've been trying to tell Christy Smallwood that she needs a VA for a while. I can see it.
We have room.
I first need a budget for a VA. So that would be my question, is like, what do I need to prepare for budget-wise? So, for example, what I really need bigger help with is some of the detail tasks, the entering my stuff into the database and keeping track of, honestly, email communication, if there's something that needs to be done by me, or can it be scheduled by somebody else?
Right.
Kind of at that place too of those kind of requests. So even with just those 2 tasks on a weekly basis, I'm sure would save me. And because I looking through here, need to do daily. My bookkeeping, exercise, I got to do that myself. Social media stuff. And then some things I have to do by myself, and other things I need to try to start delegating. And that's what I'm actually making this list here. I'm like, what are the activities I need to learn to delegate out to somebody else that would save me time? Like I invested $50 extra for somebody else to put this together. So what does that kind of thing look like that I would be getting myself into?
Yeah. Well, most VAs who've been doing this for a little while anyway offer VA retainer packages. And what that means is you pick like a lot, it's like a buying hours in a bulk. So you might say, okay, I know I'm going to need 15 hours a month. And there's different VAs offer different packages. And the more hours you purchase, of course, it's going to be less per hour. So you might just say, okay, I know I need 15 hours a month and that's this package, or, but different ones have different packages. And for me, at least, I don't know about everybody else, but say you purchased 20 hours a month, a package that had that, and you didn't use all those. You had 5 extra hours at the end of the month. We actually roll over those hours and use them first in the next month. We'll roll them over for a month. Then after that, of course, we wouldn't keep them. But most of the time, people find tasks that can use during that time. So, and a lot of VAs will work with you too. If you're over an hour here or there, or just a little bit, as long as it's not a consistent thing or somebody taking advantage of somebody in that way, they really do work with you. You become it becomes very fluid relationship because you're going to be communicating with them often. Does that answer that? I would say go online and look. Yeah, go online and look at several different ones, and you'll see like different packages most of the time. Now, some don't like to put their costs and things like that up on their site. But what I found out was it cut way down on those calls where people just really want you for $5 an hour, and it cut way down on that. And, well, I really need this and that, where they could look at my site and say, okay, this is what you do, and this is the packages you offer. So I know I need this. What would that look like? And then we can talk about it.
So you mentioned the $5 an hour thing. So years ago, right? Yeah. You probably know where I'm going. Years ago, I worked with a guy, and he wanted me to be somewhat of a virtual assistant. And I was like, I can help out, and I could help. This is how it's going to look. And he's like, but we need to figure out what can be delegated to a real virtual assistant, because I'm not the assistant. So we looked at some of those tasks that can be delegated out, his scheduling, the data entry, things like that. And he had, at the time, looked into the option of using somebody from the Philippines that would be like $3.50 an hour. Yeah. And it's like, how do you even compete with that? Yeah. How do you overcome?
That's a very good
those kinds of situations.
Yeah, we get that a lot. And if you go on Elance and, Upwork and some of those kind of places where they're putting work out to bid on, it's very difficult to really compete with that. The best thing I can tell you is, though, most people, at least in the U.S., Canada, that kind of thing, Europe, want, England, they want somebody who knows the language very well, can speak it very well, and understands the grammatical things of our language, which a lot of people overseas do not understand that. So yes, they might be able to post something in your social media, but it may not sound like what you say. Whereas we try to actually learn your voice and what you would say, you know what I mean? And so it's a big difference in quality, I think, is the biggest thing, to compete with is, we offer, and other virtual assistants like myself offer so much better quality. And we've been doing it so much longer. I know that you, Sabrina, had an instance not long ago with a problem with that. Somebody with an agency using people in, overseas. And it can be a real barrier. I mean, you have to be able to communicate well with your assistant. You have to, because you're going to be communicating with them. And so they have to understand exactly what you mean when you say, do specific things that maybe only in the U.S. we say, you know. And so there's just a lot of things like that. So to me, I know I used to think that way years ago, but anymore, I don't really think of it as competition, because if somebody really wants to pay that, I don't want to work for that person. You know what I mean? Because then they're going to expect me to do a lot for free, you know? So I would rather work with the person who understands the value they're getting in using a professional. I guess that's the best way I can put it.
And I want to talk about the whole competition thing for just a minute and get you guys, both of your takes on this. I don't believe in competition. I don't believe it actually exists. And I'll tell you why. Because I build WordPress websites. I have friends who build WordPress websites. And if you put both of us in a room and the same words come out of our mouths, people are still going to pick the people that they like, that they resonate with. They're still going to pick those people no matter what. So if Tammy and Christy are in the same room and you're both sending me the same pitch, and if Christy's half the price of Tammy, if everything that Tammy says resonates with me, I'm still going to hire Tammy.
I agree to a great extent in regard to that. And I also see so much more collaboration, at least in our community of VAs and everything. When we have work that we can't do ourselves, we'll put it out and say, does anybody want it? Or, you know, or come work with me on this project. So we do so much more collaboration than we used to do. And so, excuse me, I'm on, yeah. Sorry, my children are walking in. Love you. Anyway, I had told them, but they forgot. That's okay. Anyway, so I think we have so much more collaboration in today's world with the virtual world and being able to talk to people in different countries and everything else. It's really an interesting global market we have, and I just love it. So I feel like it's much more about collaboration. How can you help me? How can I help you anymore? That's what I see.
And I think
that's a...
I do agree with Sabrina, but I do think that there are still going to be those exceptions to the rule, like the pigeons in the room who just don't get it, and they're always going to be led by the price.
Yeah.
Like they don't.
Right, but those aren't the people you want to work with anyway.
Not at all. Not at all. That's why I'm calling, you know, the workshop I'm leading into for the client service experience. It's called client for a reason, not a customer.
Exactly.
Because I want to work with those people who consider their clients, not just a transactional customer.
Yes. Couldn't agree more.
So, yeah.
There you go. And I want to also speak to what Tammy just said about it being a global marketplace. Everybody has so many people have realized that we are now in a global marketplace when it comes to Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and all those things. But they're all still they're all still being pigeons on those platforms. And when we talk, I know, and no matter how many times you tell them, they don't listen. But I want to talk to you guys a little bit about pigeons. And I don't care who hears this. Let me tell you what a pigeon is. When you fly by, drop your shit and keep going. Okay, that's a pigeon. So it doesn't matter what platform you're on. If you're a pigeon, you're still going to get what you get, which is nothing. And then you can't figure out why nobody's hiring you. Pull up a chair, sit down, start a conversation, stay a while. Find out whether or not I'm interested in doing business with you. Find out whether or not I'm interested in collaborating with you or doing referrals with you or becoming an affiliate with you. Or even if we have a friendship possibility, find out. If you just do a flyby, you'll never know. There we go. Tell Christy, I really got a couple minutes, but I want to hear your 9 tips. So let's talk about your 9 tips in your book. Go for it.
So my 9 tips basically boils down to they're people. You're trying to develop people relationships, not transactions. So it's, you know, number 1, have the right mindset. Basic purpose of networking is to build your network of people. Remember, we're dealing with people. And then I commit to consistency. One time is not enough. Have a goal. Know your ideal client so you're not wasting your time in the room. It happens anywhere. Just because it's one event doesn't mean you're networking only during that event. Anytime 2 or more are gathered, you got a networking situation. You're adding that person to your network. It's marketing, not sales yet. So there's a shift in there. You're only marketing right now. Do we like each other? What do you need to know about me to like me? Not buy from me yet. The introduction, it's not an elevator pitch. You're not just speaking at me. I want to continue the conversation. If I give you a speech, it shuts us off. There's no more room for conversation.
What does pitch mean anyway?
What? Exactly.
Love it.
Like that.
Pitch, pigeon, pitch. Sounds the same to me.
Number 8, everyone either is or knows your ideal client. So everybody has value that you're coming across. If you can't close them, cut them off kind of concept that sales trainers use a lot doesn't count in networking. And then 9, take action. So just because you know all this stuff, if you don't do anything about it, then you're still, and I had a great conversation with a guy I had lunch with yesterday who does email marketing campaigns. They have a company called Delivra. So met with him yesterday, and he admitted, he said, when I go into a room, I'm all about getting the business cards so I can add them to my list and communicate with them. And he's like, he's like, you've made it clear I need to slow down and take, and I said, it's quality, not quantity. Just because you have 20 cards from that room doesn't mean you're actually creating real connections with any one of them. Like if you make real connections with 5, isn't that more profitable in the end than just gathering 20 names? Isn't
it more profitable than pitching at 50?
Yes.
It's still, no matter, because we're global doesn't mean we're not having, or virtual even, that we're not having relationships. It still always comes back to the relationship, because somebody's going to buy from somebody they know, like, and trust.
Exactly.
And you have to build it.
And to get trust, you have to build it. People don't, we're in a society now, we don't immediately trust people. It takes a little bit.
Absolutely.
You know, I was talking to Charlene Burke, and I found this to be absolutely true. So, Tammy, I'm just going to throw this out there for you, too. But the people that we meet virtually like this, that we get together with on video and audio and talk to, not just here, but like conversate with, you know, outside of our online platforms as well. Believe it or not, there seems to be a greater element of trust happening there. And there also seems to be a greater element of actually business taking place, people doing business with each other, they're meeting online. Now, I wonder if that's because they're all on kind of common ground, so they know that you understand the tech side of their business. What do you think the reason for that is, Christy?
That could be part of it. I know for me, my experiences that I've noticed is that when people are using these platforms, you know you're not coming in here just to shoot the shit. You're coming in here to talk about something real and develop your purpose. You're a lot more intentional when we're using these platforms versus just, you know, now some of them that I don't, when the blab looked different and you could pick different things or whatever, I didn't want to go into a room that said just because. Like, I'm not here for just because. I'm here for a purpose.
And what does that mean?
Kind of creepy.
What does just because
You never know what you're going to walk into with that.
Yeah. I know. I think, too.
So many people are...
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Tammy.
I was just going to say, I think, too, being able to do it by video, voice, and all of that adds another element to the trust factor, because you can see them, you can see their eyes, their mannerisms, and all of that, you know, just like when you meet in person. It makes a big difference than just emailing back and forth or having texting and things of that nature. I think that, you know, having that eye contact and everything else makes a big difference.
You can see a more complete percentage of conversation.
Yeah. Definitely.
All right, ladies, I have to head across the room.
Thank you, Christy.
All right, ladies.
Enjoyed meeting
Nice
you.
to meet you, Tammy.
Everybody for joining us. Just let me remind you real quickly to come on over and join us at networklivevirtually.com. Join any of our live virtual networking meetings where we're in a setting just like this, not Blab, but Zoom. So you still can have everybody on the screen. We get the opportunity to speak to everybody. We get to exchange contact information with everybody, and you get to meet people from all over the globe. We had a fabulous meeting yesterday with our new host, Steve and Susie Santersola. And we had people in the room from the United States, from Canada, from Honduras, from the UK. So that's what we do when we network virtually, ladies and gentlemen. Is we actually just get in there and meet real people. We don't drop our shit in Facebook and keep flying. So don't be a pigeon, you guys. Come hang out with us, and we'll see you every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks, Sabrina. Thank you, Christy. Have a great day.
Thanks, Tammy.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.